Right, hello, parents and students. Uh, Welcome to our first of a few videos introducing you to the middle school program for 2021. Normally, we would be having an information night about now and getting you in and just explaining what goes on in 2021 in terms of our middle school, but unfortunately, we're stuck at home recording videos. So we'll try and keep the videos nice and short and get to the point and just make sure you've got all the information required for you to start choosing subjects or preferencing subjects for 2021. So for those of you that are new to Murtoa College or haven't seen what the Year 9-10 program looks like before because you don't have any like older brothers or sisters in it, here's essentially what a week of 9-10 looks like. We have three subjects that are compulsory for everyone. Those three subjects are everyone's favorites: English, maths, and science. So generally we'll give you 5 periods of English a week, 5 periods of maths a week, and science gets 4. That's 14 periods of the week. So if we usually have 30 periods in a week and we take away the 14 there, that leaves 16 periods left over. Those 16 periods that are left over, they get split into groups of 4. So we've got 4 subjects for you to pick from in semester 1, and we'll have 4 subjects for you to pick from in semester 2. And then the question is, what subjects do you get to do in each of these semesters? And they're all elective-based subjects. We do have a few rules in terms of which curriculum areas you have to choose from. We have areas of the curriculum that are compulsory, but you can choose which subject you like from those areas. So you will have to do a humanities subject. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this particular spot. You might not do humanities in semester 1. It might be in semester 2, but at some point during the year you'll be doing humanities. So you don't have to worry about what semester things fall in. We'll sort that out for you. You really just have to tell us which subjects you like from those groups. So you'll have a humanities subject, you'll have a phys ed subject at some point, you'll have to do an art subject, and you'll also have to do a technology subject. I'm putting them in randomly to just show it doesn't matter where they fall, as long as you do one subject each from each of those 4 areas. Okay, these are our compulsory curriculum areas, but as you'll see soon, we have lots of choices in those areas. That leaves 4 empty spaces, and you essentially can fill up those 4 spaces with whichever subjects speak to you the most, that are most appealing to you from the big list that we'll show you in a minute. So if you really like art, then you can put a couple more in. If you like humanities, you can put another one in. You can do more than one phys ed, right? You don't just have to do these once in a semester. So you can pick more if you like, but these are our minimums. You must do one humanities, one art, one phys ed, and one technology. And then we try to leave it as free as we can for you guys to fill up your last 4 blocks. So we do try and give that bit of freedom of choice. And with that freedom comes responsibility. So here's what we're trying to do with this elective program. So for a start, we are offering subjects that span the entire curriculum, so we don't leave anything out. So you do have the opportunity to study something from each area of the Victorian curriculum. We're obligated to do that, so we try our best to have subjects that span the whole lot. What we do try and offer is opportunities that explore specific areas of a subject. So in the humanities, if you're more of a business type student and you're interested in business management and how businesses work, we have lots of options in that area, and you might focus on that rather than history, for example. What we do give you is a chance to explore part of the curriculum in great detail. So if you really want to dive down into like the technologies or the digital technologies, then you get to do that in a bit more depth than you otherwise would. We do try and give opportunities for individual students to design their own course and choose stuff that's interesting for them. It doesn't always pan out that way, depending on how things fall in the blockings. But we do try and let you guys design your own individual program that suits you. So you guys are growing up and becoming a bit more mature. You should start to have a bit more of a say in what subjects you like, and try and design a program that actually interests you and is relevant to your, I guess, future pathways. And hopefully by choosing subjects that interest you, you'll be going down the right track, and we're providing pathways that kind of take you from 9 and 10 and put you into your year 11 and 12 years where you might be doing a VCE course, VCAL or VET, or going and looking for apprenticeships and stuff. So we try and cover all of those bases with the range of subjects we offer, and we hope that nobody misses out with stuff that they like. It's also important to recognize that the elective program doesn't do a few things, and what it doesn't do, it doesn't let you do whatever you want whenever you want. So if you think you're going to go to the website that I'll show you soon, and you're going to click on your 8 favorite subjects, and you're going to get lobbed into them, and you'll get to just have the time of your life unfortunately isn't going to pan out that way. There's going to be some negotiation and give and take through this process. You're not guaranteed 8 subjects that you love, because for a start, you might not love 8 of the subjects that we've got on offer. And unfortunately, we always have things like clashes. Your 2 favorite subjects might be running at the same time. You might want to do a subject, but no one else picks it, so it doesn't get up. We can't guarantee you your 8 favorites, unfortunately. That's why it's important when you choose. We'll be asking you to choose backup choices as well. Uh, you don't get to spend 30 periods every week with your best friends, and we don't recommend it either. The middle school program does mix up the 9s and 10s. They're all combined, apart from the English, math, science classes. The 9s and 10s all study these classes together, so it's a chance to meet some new people, and you don't have to spend all week with your best friends, because they might not like the same subjects you do anyway. You won't get to skip a part of the curriculum you don't like, because we've got parts that are compulsory, but you do get to choose the part of that curriculum, the part of the humanities, the part of the arts that appeals to you most. And we really don't want you guys to waste the most important years of your school life. So these are important choices for you. Make sure you're thinking about not just, what subject's going to be a good time, what subject do I get to hang out with my friends. You should be thinking about which subject is going to get me to where I'm going, when I get to the pointy years of my schooling life in year 11 and 12. All right, so watching this video and then acting on it is the first part of our process. What we're really just doing right now is we're selecting preferences for the subjects you'd like to run. By no means, by choosing a subject, does that mean that you're in it. Right now, this is basically a voting process. We want to run the subjects that are the most appealing to this particular group of 910 students. Every cohort we come through has different interests and different abilities, so we try and change it up from year to year and cater to those interests. So we are offering about 50 subjects in our book, but we'll probably be running anywhere between 32, 36, 40 of them. So there are going to be subjects that miss out. So it's really important you guys put your preferences in, because you are voting on which subjects you'd like to be in. And that's really helpful information when we put together our middle school program. So you guys are going to be choosing these preferences, and then in term 4, hopefully we're back at school. Generally what we do is we get each student individually to sit down with your year level coordinator, and once we've got the actual subjects that are running set up, they'll sit down, have an interview, talk about where you're headed, talk about what you're into, and you'll actually get to choose the subjects that you're in from that pool that were actually preferenced or chosen by the group. Okay, so you've got to basically vote on the subjects you like. This is what we're doing at the moment. Okay, so the booklet full of subjects has actually been sneakily up on Google Classroom for a while, and it has been mailed out to your house, so you might have it already. I'll just run through the subject areas one at a time, just to make sure you're clear about what the requirements are. So starting with the arts, that spans things from studio arts, visual arts, Viscom, things like that, through to media-based subjects, drama and dance. They're all in that art bucket. And we're not asking you to do one of each type of art, just one art subject. So you can kind of focus on the area that interests you the most. So from this list of subjects, they might not all run, but from this list of subjects, you'll have to do one, right? So we want you to choose your favorite at the very least from the list of art subjects. The same thing applies to phys ed. Phys ed, we've got a few subjects on offer, and the phys ed department have split them into high intensity and low intensity. So a subject like just sport is very similar to what your year 7 and year 8 PE is, where they rotate through a few different sports and you get to run around and have a go at them. We've got our volleyball program. We've also got personal fitness, which can be as high or low intense as you like. And if you're not loving the high intensity and the sport and the physical activity, we have subjects like sports management, which is a bit more behind the scenes organizational, and quite often you get to have a say in actually helping our school sports and our swimming sports run. That's an option if you're not into actually participating, and Sports for Life is more low intense as well. Okay, so you can think about your experiences in year 7 and year 8 PE and choose accordingly. This colourful slide here is our humanities offering. I've color coded it just to show that humanities is pretty diverse. Humanities covers a bunch of areas, and we're offering subjects from each of those areas. So traditionally humanities, people often think about history. So our yellow subjects here are history. We've got 5 choices. So if you want to do a history subject, you can think about which aspect of history you like, whether you like kind of the world wars and other wars from the 1900s, the French Revolution, the 1960s, and all the stuff that happened there, with a focus on kind of the music and the movies at the time, the Agrarian Revolution, right, a popular choice, and the Russian Revolution as well. That's history. We've got geography. Geography are our blue subjects here, so you can do it a bit more broadly, thinking about the world, or you can focus on our local area and the geography of that. We've got business subjects, business management, and kind of a Shark Tank themed subject where you get to kind of think about designing your own small business. And we've got civics and citizenship with a focus on legal studies, politics, and religion. So humanities has a lot to choose from, but you have to pick one at the very least, okay? Because there's so much stuff going on here, people often like to have more than one humanities, but as a minimum, you must have one. And the same goes for technology. We've got digital technologies, working more with computers, and we've also got the more hands-on type of technology. So we've got our home ec subjects, we've got woodwork, and if you really like technology, we can put technology in your technology because we now have a technology subject called technology, and that's really just a broad umbrella where you can do your woodwork, your metalwork, your welding, just get your hands dirty basically, and play around with whatever we've got hanging around down that side of the school. But whether you're more into the computer side of things, the cooking side of things, the textile side of things, you must do one technology subject at the very least. Health is a bit of a funny one. You have to do health at some point, but the rules say that you only have to do health at least once during year 9 or year 10. So you don't have to do it in year 9, but if you don't do it in year 9, it'll be compulsory in year 10. So a lot of year 9s do like to get out of the way nice and early, because if you don't do it, then you're stuck with wherever we put it in year 10. So you might think about choosing a health subject in year 9 to just tick it off. But if you choose not to, then we'll be making sure you get your health subject in year 10. There's only two to choose from, so you might, if you really like health, do one in year 9 and then one in year 10. With the languages, all right, so now we're moving into the optional areas where you don't have to do these subjects if you don't want to, but we do need to offer them to you and give you the choice to do them if that's what you're interested in. So we ran a German class in middle school this year, so we're offering German again if you want to carry on with what you've been doing in year 7, year 8. Uh, and then if we can't get a languages class up and running, we do have the option of enrolling students by distance at the Victorian School of Languages. It's a bit tricky, and a lot of students who've tried it have really struggled with the independence of it, but essentially you're sitting down at your computer, you've got a teacher in Melbourne who will send stuff to you through the computer, through the mail sometimes, and you're essentially teaching yourself the language, filling out worksheets, and then sending them off over the internet usually. So if you are desperate to do a language, then you are likely to be doing it, unless you choose German by distance education. We've got these other sections now, these pathways sections. None of them are compulsory at all. There's lots of really interesting subjects in them. They're just split up into different groups, kind of based on where they're pointed. So the community pathway subjects generally just point outside of the school. Okay, so you'll be doing things that are often external to the school or studying things that are kind of outside of the school curriculum. So a subject like advance is quite popular with year 9s. It gets you your Duke of Edinburgh certificate, but it requires doing a fair bit of stuff outside of school in terms of engaging with the community. We've got Generation Exchange, which was running this year and was doing really well until we weren't allowed to leave the school anymore. It basically involves a partnership with the Dunmunkle Lodge, and our students spend a lot of time at the lodge, interacting with the residents of the Dunmunkle Lodge, and doing activities based around that, which is a really good kind of community outreach type subject. Get a job work experience will hopefully culminate in students who pick it doing work experience as part of their studies. And we also have a subject on social media, which is a really important topic these days, about, I guess, safe usage of it, and about the pitfalls of it, and just about issues related to social media usage. We call this section VCE pathways. They're not VCE subjects, all right? So you're not studying a year 11 or year 12 subject. Generally what they are, they're just subjects that aren't pointed outside to the community like the last section. They're actually just like a really good lead-in or a really good taste of some of the content that might be taught at VCE, and it's perfectly fine for Year 9 students to be picking them. Like, they're not hard subjects, harder than any other subject. It's just that the content kind of points you to relevant subjects that are in Year 11. So the first two, Get Psyched and Mastermind Psychology, they're in this section because there is a Year 11 subject, Psychology, and these two subjects are a really good lead-in to doing VCE psychology at some point in the future. They're also just really good if you're interested in that kind of thing, in the way the mind works and in the way psychology is. Outdoor Ed is in this section. Getting to go outside and study the world around you and go on camps and such, and that's because there is a VCE subject called Outdoor Ed. Okay, so it's a good practice for it. And we also have Paddock to Plate, a really good subject where you get to go outside, dig some holes, get involved, with our veggie gardens, stuff like that, and just look at how things grow. And it's in this section because Ag and Hort is a VCE subject as well, but it's a really good chance to do some practical stuff outside Paddock to Plate. The last section we call core pathways, and we've got this section here because we do offer people the opportunity to do like 3 sport subjects in a year or 3 humanities subjects in a year. You get to do a lot of humanities if you like humanities. If you really like art, you get to do a lot of art. So we thought, what about the students who really, really, really like English or science or maths? What if that's their favorite subject? Okay, we shouldn't limit you to just your 5 periods of maths or English or your 4 periods of science. So we do have electives that relate to English, science, and maths. Okay, if you have a particularly favorite part of English, science, and maths, then maybe we've got something here that can pique your interest. So when it comes to reading and studying books, if you're into manga and comics and graphic lit, then you get a chance to just focus on that for a whole semester. And we've got a group of students who love that stuff, and we've got a really dedicated class studying that right now. In science, if you're into kind of physics and watching stuff blow up or electrocuting stuff, then we do have some really interesting subjects that let you be a bit more practical and hands-on in those areas and really focus on the content of those areas to really build up that understanding. If you love books, we've got book club, or if you really just want to get your head around finance and money and stuff like that, then we do have financial literacy as a bonus math subject. Again, these are all optional choices. All of our pathways are the core, the VCE, the community pathways. They're all completely optional. None of them are mandatory, but I think there's some really interesting stuff in there for anyone who's keen to have a go. All right, so essentially the program is we're offering you about 50 choices, and at the end of the day, you're going to get to do 8. So what we need you to do now is we need you to visit the website that lets you select your subjects. There is also a video tutorial showing you how to navigate that website if you're not sure. But it does guide you through the process as you go if you want to click around. Essentially what we're asking you to do, first of all, you should choose the 4 compulsory areas, right? So you are going to have to do art, PE, humanities, technology. So the first thing I'd ask you to do, choose your favorite art subject, choose your favorite phys ed, choose your favorite humanities, and choose your favorite technology. That's your top 4 subjects spoken for. And then we're going to have to ask you to choose your 4 next best subjects, okay? From any area whatsoever, right? So there might be more humanities that you like. There might be more art, PE, technology. That's fine. You can choose more than one, but you must choose your favorite one from these 4 areas first, okay? If your favorite 4 subjects after that aren't in these areas, that's fine as well. You can go down to the languages, to the health, to the pathways areas, and just find the 4 subjects that sound the most appealing to you. Really hopeful that you guys will have read the handbook at this point and have a really clear idea about what these subjects are about, right? Don't just go by the names, actually read what they're offering. And by choosing those 4 next best subjects, you'll have your 8, right? We need your 8 favorites, all right? Your 4 compulsory ones and your 4 next best ones, okay? What we need from you after that, though, we don't want you to just leave it at 8 because it's extraordinarily unlikely that anyone gets their top 8 subjects. It basically almost never happens. So it's really, really helpful when we're putting our blocking together to know what else you like, just in case you miss out on, something from that top 8. So we're encouraging everybody to choose 6 to 10 backup reserve subjects. We've got different areas for your 8 favorites and then for your reserves. So if you're not quite sure about that, then you should definitely watch the next video, which is how to use the website. Okay, but what we just want you to do at the end of this process is to have your 8 favorite subjects and then 6 to 10 backups for when you miss out on those favorites. And you have to make sure you submit that before the due date. You don't have to print anything off or sign it. We can't have stuff handed in at the moment. We do receive those subjects when you put them in. So just make sure you've done those selections, you follow the instructions and got it right, and we'll get back to you on what's running for next year. Okay, thanks for tuning in and watching. Hopefully that all makes sense. If it doesn't, send through Zuno messages or ask questions in the Google Classroom, and we're happy to answer them.